Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a new episode of the Cue the Chat podcast. My name is Fionn Lynch, and I haven't been back in a while. I was here on the first day of the World Snooker Championship, and I haven't been back since, so I do apologize for that. But it has been a great championship. It must be said, it has been a brilliant World Snooker Championship, and I'd intended on being back another couple of times before now, but life got in the way. But I have watched a lot of snooker actually. So yeah, it's been a great World Championship so far. We've had so many great matches, and we've secured a podcast guest. I'll tell you more about that at the end if you don't already listen to their podcast. Yes, it's another podcast coming on mine. But we're going to start from the very beginning. I'm going to go through some of the results, some of the news stories as well, because we've had some pretty good news stories. And also the draw has come out for Q School, so I might go through that at the end. But we are going to start, of course, with Lei Pei Fan beating Karen Wilson. I spoke about this briefly on night one. So if you didn't see that podcast, I would highly recommend it. I spoke so quickly in that one. The adrenaline was still pumping from watching the match. I literally was watching it, and then came on here at it was the middle of the night. So it's been a pretty good. What am I trying to say? It's been it was a pretty good match. Karen Wilson didn't play as well as I know he can, and Lei Pei Fan played a little bit better than I thought he could. So yeah, we went through that in the first episode. That was the only result that I've talked about so far. It's a very squeaky chair. I know I bring this up sometimes, but I need to get a new chair. Zhao Guodong beat Matt Selt. I didn't watch a single minute of this game. I'm just happy that Matthew Selt lost, to be honest. He's been good on the World Snooker Tour podcast. They've been doing daily stuff, and he's been on it a couple of times, and he's been very good as a host. Because they've had two players in as a host yesterday. Well, today as I record, but yesterday probably as you listen to this because it's already 10 o'clock. They had him in as the player kind of a role. They usually have a presenter and then a player, an analysis kind of guy. But they had some sort of I don't know who he was. He was a journalist, I think. They had him in as the presenter role, and I didn't enjoy it as much like that. But yeah, good win for Zhao Guodong. Matt Selt didn't really put up much of a fight, to be honest. Mark Williams beat Wu Yize 10-8. Mark Williams was 3-0 up in that one, and 466 unanswered points from Mark Williams for Wu Yize to go 4-3. As far as I remember, because this 20th of April, that was in regular snooker, this would be this would be tournaments ago. So I really should have done a podcast before now, but Mark Williams beat Wu Yize 10-8. Yeah, all I remember about that match was that Mark Williams essentially was the better player throughout. Hossein Vafaei, Barry Hawkins. This match was kind of put on opposite some really good matches. It was put on opposite the Mark Williams Wu Yize, and it was put on opposite the final session of Karen Wilson Lei Pei Fan. So that's another one that really would have been excellent to watch, but it turned out that it was on during two even better matches. Hossein Vafaei, his cheer when he was in, was it the 40s or 50s, he let out a come on when he was nowhere near winning. He let the animal out of him, I think was what he said. That was it. Sorry, that was a borderline racist accent. I sincerely apologize to all who had to hear that. Yeah, it was a match that I thought it looked like it would have been very decent to watch. Both of them played quite well. But yeah, that instant riled people up. I don't mind it. Maybe a bit premature. We saw, was it Joe Long that did that in the Scottish Open a couple of years ago? And I wouldn't say he hasn't recovered from it, because I don't think that shouting in celebration and then losing is something that takes like a year and a half to get over. Not that I'm a professional snooker player, but like, you know what I mean. But yeah, or was Hossein Mafai Barry Hawkins put on opposite Chris Wakelin, Neil Robertson? It doesn't matter. The next match, Chris Wakelin against Neil Robertson. Chris Wakelin was commanding in that opening session. I came back and I watched after work. I think it was the second half of the first session, and Chris Wakelin played so well. Oh my goodness. Neil Robertson, I kind of forgot he was in the tournament. It's been so long since he's played. Yeah, it was a poor performance from Neil Robertson in the first session. He came back a nice bit in the second session. Kind of the story of Chris Wakelin's tournament. I put the microphone very far away. Yeah, kind of the story of Chris Wakelin's tournament, to be honest. But yeah, then in the second session, Neil Robertson he came back, but Chris Wakelin just about managed to fight him off. It was like Chris Wakelin in his head thought that he'd already won. Was what it kind of seemed like. I know that's in his interview after. I think they asked him about that, and I don't actually think that was what he thought. But yeah, it was a good opening session, and then he fell across the line in the second session. Zhao Xingtong against Jack Jones, one that I was very excited to watch. And Xingtong just kind of blew Jack Jones off the table. Jack Jones played poor, and Zhao Xingtong played very well. I'm going to have a sip of water. I should have had a sip of water 7 minutes ago when I started, but hey ho, if this is your first time listening, get used to it. Yeah, Zhao Xingtong blew Jack Jones off the table, to be completely frank. Yeah, it was just some match, really, from Zhao Xingtong, putting in great breaks left, right, and center. Then Mark Allen against Fan Jingyi. Mark Allen went 3-0 down in that one. He managed to pull it back to 3-1 after the interval, and then went on to take a 5-4 lead at the interval before taking off, really. He was 9-4 up then. So he went from 4-3 down to 9-4 up, and kind of controlled. It was a slow control then, and he won the match 10 frames to 6. John Higgins against Joe O'Connor. That was an entertaining one. That one finished when I was in the opening session was on when I was in the club. I had it on one of the tellies. That one went on late enough. Joe O'Connor was on a maximum, I believe, in the first session of that one. Broke down on 96, but it was high quality. Very good match to watch. I'm just kind of blasting through this first round because I have a lot more to say on the second round and quarterfinals. I remember them more, essentially. What is our next match? Ding Junhui against Zach Shorty. I mean, 10-7 to Ding Junhui. It was very, I don't know. Zach Shorty played very well in the frames that he won. Very similar to Daniel Wells, might I add. The first couple of frames, Zach looked all over the shop. Went 4-0 down at the start, he looked woeful. But with breaks of 136, 110, 109, and 104, he managed to pull something back out of that match. He was always behind. 7-6 was the closest that he got. Behind, of course, so 6-7. But after that, Ding Junhui kicked back on with breaks of 116, 86, 75, and 73. Those are in general, not just like in those frames. He managed to get a 10 frames to 7 win. Now, Si Jiahui against Dave Gilbert. I didn't watch a whole pot of this match. I think it was on opposite. It was on opposite another match. and I started the first session, and I started watching it. I can't remember for the life of me what match it was. It was on opposite another match, and I was like watching it, but I almost felt guilty watching it, just because like I had FOMO for the other match. God almighty, I can't remember what match it was. Whatever match they were opposite, I was watching it, but I wasn't really taking it in because I was thinking, oh, maybe I should be watching the other one. And it was just a session where I felt like I should have really been watching the other match. I think it might have been Judd Trump, Show You Long. But they were 2-2 at the interval. Si Jiahui had taken a 2-0 lead. 5-3 Si Jiahui at the end of the first session, and kind of took off. He made it up to 9-4. Dave Gilbert managed to claw something back, bring it to 9-6, but in the end, he managed to win out 10 frames to 6. Dave Gilbert had 2 centuries. Si Jiahui didn't have any. The closest he came was a break of 98. Excuse me. To win that match. The next one, Pang Junju against Zhang Anda. I didn't watch a moment of it, and I was glad I didn't, to be frank, because that looked like an appalling game. That one went on and 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 on. If I'm not mistaken, they got pulled off early. I can't quite remember, but I believe they got pulled off early. I've absolutely nothing to say about this match. Ronnie O'Sullivan, Ali Carter. Now this was really the only match of Ronnie's that I have watched, because most of the other matches he's been put on against not stinkers of players like Si Jiahui, like Pang Junju. Like, do I want to watch that? Ronnie's always gonna win that. Si Jiahui, they were put on like opposite people like Judd Trump, Luca Bracel, John Higgins, Mark Williams. Like, do I really want to watch Si Jiahui over matchups like that? Not really. That match against Ali Carter, he lost the first frame, but Ali wasn't at the races, realistically. I think too much was made of the match. Ali had been struggling a small bit with his neck. And I mean, he said it was okay before the match. It might have still been niggling him. He was not at the races, but it was good to see Ronnie back. He said he keeps saying that he's been playing awful. He was talking today. I'll get onto that. I'll get onto that because I will remember that. Did I talk about Sean Murphy, Daniel Wells? I don't believe I did. Because if I did talk about it, my memory is shocking. But I do not believe that I spoke about it. What I would have said was that Daniel Wells made a century in every frame he won, unless he didn't in the last frame that he won. But I'm pretty sure that he made 4 centuries. Oh, no, in the 4th frame that he won, he didn't. But it was looking like he might. This was an interesting game. Sean Murphy was playing lights out snooker, realistic. But every time Daniel Wells got in, he played extremely well. I mean, as I say, breaks of 1-3-1, 1-3-1, 115, 109, and 68. All pretty good frame-winning breaks. But Sean Murphy made a 138, a 133, a 100 break, an 89 break, a 76 break. We're still going. A 71 break, a 64 break, 63, 57, 53. Sean played well. Daniel Wells played well. Sean Murphy played better. Sean had been in the studio all week, so I was worried. Not because like, oh, he's in the studio, he can't win, but like, he was playing long days, man. Like I was even keeping tabs. Like he was doing like mornings in the studio, afternoons in the comms box, evenings again in the studio or in the comms box. Like he was putting in graft, and I was worried that it might take it out of him. I don't mind players like doing things like that. Like Mark Allen was in there for a bit. Karen Wilson, once he got knocked out, was in there for a bit. Neil Robertson previously has done little bits like that. Like there's a lot of time to fill up. Like, they didn't play until the 22nd of April. They didn't. Yeah, he didn't play until the 22nd of April. The tournament started on the 19th. So he had 4 or 5 days to kill, and he was already going to have been there from the media day. So why not spend a little bit of time? Maybe he spent a little too... I thought that he might have spent a little bit too much time. In the end, it didn't seem that way, because he came out pretty comfortable winner against an on-form Daniel Wells. Daniel Wells played well. So yeah. Next match. Joe Trump against Zhou Yulong. That's the match that they did the watch along for on TNT. I was watching it on YouTube. I didn't actually know it was on one of the proper channels. Apparently it was on TNT Sports 1, and I would have been able to actually watch the match there as well in the corner, but I was watching it on YouTube. Just the watch along was on YouTube. They did that for the second session, but Judd Trump played well. 6-3 up at the interval, or not at the interval, at the end of the session. He went 5-1 up at one point, and he dropped one frame in the evening session. He was playing lights out snooker. He played very well indeed. I've been calling up the breaks so far, so I may as well. A 117, 2 114 breaks, 113, and a 100 break. Zhou Yulong without a century in that match. Luca Bracel against Ryan Day. These played opposite an afternoon, or opposite a second round match. I think their second session. Couldn't think of the word session. That's how bad we are here at the Cue the Chat podcast. Luca. I halfway through, I decided to start looking up Cue Tracker, because my mind was going fairly blank for these matches. Here we go. Now, good podcast like maybe Alan McManus's podcast, or the Snooker Loopy podcast, or one of them, would have had all of this ready. I am looking this up as I go along, but hey ho. It was all Ryan Day really in session 1. 5-1 up at one point, but in session 2, Luca Bracel blasted him off the table. That was fun. Ryan Day had a 126 break, a 101 break, and a 104 break. Luca Bracel has been entertaining to watch. All tournament. I mean, his next match, which I'll get onto in a few moments. His next match, he played absolute lights out stuff. It was absolutely mental how well he played. So yeah, don't remember much about this match. I don't remember seeing that much in this particular match, but yeah. Then the final match of the first round: Ben Wollaston against Mark Selby. Let's take a dramatic pause for a moment. What in the name of Christ Almighty was this match? So slow. In all seriousness, I very much enjoyed it. Ben Wollaston. I very much like the evening session. I enjoyed watching immensely. Like, we'd be watching the other match, the curtain would come up, and then it would just be granite snooker for like a couple of hours. You could like I think I kicked back in bed and nearly fell asleep in one of the sessions. It was a nice thing to have on. I don't know. It was different because all the rest of the matches have been high scoring, really fun to watch. This one was more of a slog, and just because it was different, I enjoyed watching it. But yeah, it was not the most fun match I've ever watched in my life. But Ben Wallison, the debutant, the story that came out of it, beating Mark Selby, a hometown derby, both of them from Leicester. Yeah. Mark Selby with 2 centuries. Ben Wallison, his highest break, 84. That was kind of the story of his tournament. The low scoring, really. Every single frame was a slog. Every single frame. Every frame. Yeah, it's just a slog, man. Just difficult to watch. In complete opposition to this match. The first, second round match to finish. Chris Wakelin against Maximum Man. Mark Allen. Mark Allen made a maximum 147 break. I have an article here from WST if I can find it. Oh, this article was about the man in the audience who won 25 grand. So for anybody who's listening to this podcast that's been living under a rock, if any maximum is made, there's one person in the audience who's picked out at the start of the session who will win £25,000 with thanks to Midnight Casino Sports and Casinos. They've sponsored a prize for one of the audience members. If you sign up, I think, to Midnight Casinos, his name was Brian Nichols. I think he was there. Was it his 75th? Yeah, 75th birthday. His son bought him tickets. I must say they were the hospitality tickets. I'm not sure if this man really was in dire need of £25,000, but a quote from Brian: "When that last black went in, wow, it was lovely." Yes, the guy didn't really seem to care. I've heard bits and pieces of. I think it was. Yeah, it was on the Snooker Loopy podcast. One of the guys went. His name's Joe Hannard. He was at it, and whatchamacallit, apparently your man wasn't even in the arena for half the session, or for half the break. He didn't really seem to know what was going on, to be honest. But yeah, your man's chill out getting his £25,000. Yeah. Then whatchamacallit. Sorry, I'm absolutely lost. I'm reading the article. I was like, what else is in this article? It's talking about Midnight Sportsbook, which was launched in 2018 by Nick Wright and Daniel Quay, who previously created daily fantasy sports platform Dribble in partner with Skybet. Yeah, it's just like, go home. Yeah, it was a great maximum. Let's be honest, it was beautiful to watch. I was watching it live. I was in the sitting room, and I was like, he's on a maximum here. I was thinking that in my head. Then the graphic came up, and I said it out loud, and the whole family came down, crowded around the TV, and cheered it on, because what a moment. But other than that, Mark Allen played quite well, he didn't play appallingly. Again, Chris Wakelin played well in the opening 2 sessions. Really. He played well. No, he played well in every session. He did. He played well in every session. It was the first when they came into the second session. Chris Wakelin was 6-2 up. They were talking in comms about how Mark Allen really needed to win 3 out of the next 4, and Chris Wakelin blasted him. 7-2, 8-2, 9-2, 10-2. They come out after the interval 10-2. The match is looking over. Mark Allen, playing with absolute freedom, bangs in a maximum to make it 10-3. Then he loses the next frame to and then it goes 11-3. And then from there, really, he's lost the match. Has Mark Allen. So, yeah, that was one of the stories of the tournament, really, was that maximum break from Mark Allen. One of the stories so far. Then we move on to Mark Williams, Hossein Rufai. A great match, another one that was brushed to the side, really. I mean, what a brilliant match that was being overshadowed by nearly... I mean, I've been watching a lot of the secondary table that like to the one that they've been putting on the TV, because some of it's like some of the stuff they're putting on the TV, like, I understand they need to have their big names, but there have been so many great matches that have been on that, like, they've put Ronnie O'Sullivan, Pang Junzhu on against instead. Like, what are they doing? Like, I understand they need it for viewership, but like, I can't believe I'm getting into this already. I was planning on saving it for a little while, but what are they doing? Putting on Ronnie O'Sullivan against Pang Junzhu instead of Bracel against Ding Junhui. Like, oh, that's such a sexy match, and they put on fucking Pang Junzhu. Like I really like Pang Junzhu, but he's always gonna lose that. And it's such a mouth-watering clash with Bracel against Ding Junhui. What's going on? Oh, it just boiled my blood, some of the matches they were choosing to put on the TV. I know that we are able to watch them all online now with all this streaming crack. I sound so old saying that. All this streaming malarkey. But like, seriously, man, what are they doing with some of these decisions anyway? So this match really got pushed aside a few times. They had about 75 re-racks. Yeah, it was a strange match, to be honest. With that, so much time that will essentially never have happened. What was it? Was it the opening frame of the second or the third session where they had 3 re-racks? So they had basically 3 half frames that never happened. Yeah, crazy stuff, to be honest. One thing I have noticed, actually, is they seem to be putting Lee Walker into the commentary box for every single session of Mark Williams, which is fine, but, like, can we see him do a different match, please? I think he did one session for, was it Mark Selby against Ben Wollaston? And I think that they actually put him in the studio for a session of, was it the Higgins match? They put him in the studio. Well, like, can we see him do something else? Like, is he only there because he did a bit for BBC Wales, and he's the coach of Mark Williams? They're like, actually, he's done a bit for us before. We'll just fuck him in the comms box again. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, it was a really entertaining game if they didn't have so many fucking re-racks. Breaks, 3 century breaks, a 1-2-2 and a 1-15 from Mark Williams, and a 1-15 from Fafai. Yeah, it was a game of peaks and troughs, to be honest. Mark Williams kind of peaked at the right time. They were pretty level up in the first session. They were frame for frame, really. Then in the second session, Mark Williams kicked on. Hossein managed to come back a little bit in the third session, but he didn't really get... The damage was done, really, in the second session. The second session is a really important session at the World Championship, especially in the quarters, because if you let it slip away in the second session, it's so difficult to bring it back in the third that it's done, really. Now, Mark Williams, Zhao Gudong. I was in work for this one. Whatchamacallit, I was on in the morning, but they had it on in the bar. I came up, I was doing something in the bar, I don't know, was I bringing something up or something? And I had a look, and I was like, oh, they put the snooker on, cool. I had a look up. Then, when I was going on my break, about 10-15 minutes later, I had a look to see what the score was. Then I went on my break, and I don't think I watched the snooker on my break. Anyway, I came back and they were in the same frame. I was like, this must be the longest frame in history. I mean, it wasn't. It was 62 minutes. Was it 60? It was 62 or 63 minutes off the top of my head. But yeah, they had some fucking long games. Long frames, sorry. John Higgins had a black to win it in the third session, but he missed it, and at, was it like 2:15 they had to pull it off, or 2:10 they pulled it off. If he'd potted that black, they would have done it in 3 sessions, but the only quarterfinal this year to have 4 sessions was John Higgins against Xiao Guodong. But yeah, they managed to get them on pretty quickly on the table, on the same table. They managed to get it on pretty quick, and they managed to finish it off pretty quick. I'm pretty sure that they had the match that was meant to be on, and then their match, all of that finished before the table 1 match finished. But yeah, I mean, that really was an excellent match. A theme that we're having with John Higgins, really. Slow match. What happened at the Welsh Open, where they had to put a match on a different table. They were like, whoa. That match went on for hours. The one against Mark Selby. Kind of a theme against Joe O'Connor. That match. A couple of times. What was it in the opening session? That one went pretty late. I think it was 2:00. Was it 1:45, 2:00 when that came off? So yeah, they pushed it close. They actually pushed over, in the last 16. But yeah, so many matches to get through. We're only about halfway through, are we? Oh no, we're a nice bit through. But we're getting on. I mean, there's plenty of other, frankly, better podcasts you could be listening to, than this hunk of shite. I don't know where all this cursing has come out of. My Irish accent has come out a bit in this one, and I don't know. Anyway, what was I looking up? Oh, Q Tracker. Yeah. So anyway, it was pretty level all the way. I mean, 1-1, it was 3-3, it was 4-4, it was 5-5, it was 6-6, it was 7-7, it was 8-8, it was 9-9, it was 10-10, and it was 12-12. So yeah, John Higgins had a few chances to put the match away. He did. He really did. 12-10, he had a chance to put it away. 12-11, he had a chance to put it away, and then at 12-12 he did put it away. But they could have been finished about, I don't know, 8 hours earlier. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. Xing Tong against Lei Pei Fan. Interesting fact here that I'm about to steal from snooker.org. Zhao Xingtong becomes the first player to reach the quarterfinals of the Crucible without holding a tour card. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. What was I going to say? I was going to look up Zhao Xingtong. Now, a good podcast would edit this bit out, but I'm going to leave it in. Yeah, here we go. His match against Lei Pei Fan. As far as I remember, he played well up to a point, and then he kind of realized what was going on. No. He kind of realized what was going on at the start. That it was nervy. It was 3-3, and then from there he pushed on. I mean, he went from 3-3 to 8-4. 8-4. It was 10-5. It was 11-6. Or sorry, it was 11-7. It was 12. What am I doing? Oh yeah, it was 10-5. It was 11-6. It was 12-8, and in the end, he managed to come through without it. I just dropped the microphone. In the end, it was out a century break from him. Lei Pei Fan made a couple. But you couldn't really expect him to play the same way that he played against Jack Jones. So you couldn't. Judge from Sean the Magician Murphy. I have an article about this one. I believe. No, it's not that one. Yeah, it's this one. There was another article here. I'll just move it up. Again, a good podcast, but edit this out. Get rid of the 25k tab. Right. Yes, he made his he made 100 century breaks in the season. That is £100,000, and I mean it was so nice to see how, like, the reception that he got, in the arena when it happened, like standing ovation. I've actually never seen him celebrate so hard. I don't think he celebrated that hard when he won the World Championship, and it was only a fist up in the air, man. But everybody was standing up. Sean Murphy was applauding him. I think he even gave a little thank you to the crowd. I mean, it was just absolutely great to watch. I mean, love him or hate him, it was a great moment. What you want to call it? Yeah, it was a really great moment. But Judge Trump in this match, he was very good. He went 2-0 down, but after that, he went 3-2 down. He didn't. I don't think he went back down after 3-2. He was cruising. He was cruising. He played very well. Sean Murphy from two. I don't know, was it 2 breakoffs or just 2 safety mistakes? Lost 2 frames really. But yeah, Sean Murphy. It was just little things that really lost him that match. It was only little things. Yeah. Judge Trump's actually made quite a few centuries in this tournament. 4, 5, 6, 7. He's made 11 in this tournament. I mean, the most he made was in the Championship League. Of course, he made like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so another 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 23 centuries in the Championship League. If he got knocked out of the Championship League, I don't think he would have gotten 100,000. So, £100,000 because of the Championship League? Ooh, will that be a clickbaity title for this episode? I don't think so. But yeah, well played from Judge Trump. It was a pretty good match. What do we move on to? Sergio Hui against Ben Wollaston. Didn't watch any of it. Did I watch any of it? I think when the other match finished, I think I might have just called it off. Did I? I think I just called it off for the evening. Yeah. I think I called it off for the evening when that came on. I think I was like, no, sir. So I've nothing to say about this one, which is a little bit disappointing, but hey ho. Now, this one, Luca Brecel, Ding Junhui. I watched a lot of this one. Not that there was a lot of this one. This match finished very, 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 very quickly. Luca Brecel has got on a rampage, man. He got on a rampage. He played very well in Ding Junhui. I just want to look up 1 second. Luca Brecel, Luca. Yeah, Brecel comes up. I just want to see what the score was when he went on his rampage, because let's be real, Ding didn't play well. He looked like he kind of gave up the ghost a bit. Gave up the ghost or the ghost? I don't know. Whichever one it was, he gave up. He made an absolute stonking break, a 1-4-1 in the first frame, and the Belgian bullet shot off from 1-0 down to 11-1 up. I think Ding Junhui almost threw away a frame. He only needed the pink, and he went in off. The only way he could go in off was playing it with topspin, and what's he do? He shoves a load of topspin on it, isn't really thinking about it, and plays an absolutely horrendous shot to pot the pink. He had everyone flustered, but yeah, that was one of the main things I remember for some reason. But yeah, Brecel got on an absolute rampage. They came back and played 20 minutes of snooker then in the final session, as did the next match that we're going to talk about. So that finished very early. Yeah, I think they played an exhibition actually afterwards. I think I saw it was a Wine Rack that posted it on TikTok about the the freaking, what's it called, the exhibition. They showed a bit of it. Jimmy White was playing. Dennis Taylor was playing. Dennis Taylor looked like he couldn't see 2 meters or 2 centimeters in front of his nose when he was putting a couple of them balls. Ken Doherty played, and yeah, but it looked to be a good exhibition. Anyway, that's not the point. Yeah, so Luca Brissell and Ronnie O'Sullivan both 12-4 up, and both at about the same time finished off against their opponents respectively, and they had to wheel out the big guns, or the old stock. Is that a phrase? I don't know. Yeah. Now this match. Oh, mama. If you didn't watch this match, Mark Williams against John Higgins, the final session, sadly, I didn't see the end of it. No, I did see the end of it. I saw them walking off. I missed the good bit. I was playing pool, I think, in the snooker club. I think I was down playing pool against one of my buds. I didn't realise what was going on. I missed it. I missed the moment. For those of you who didn't see it, Mark Williams went 12-8 up, and John Higgins made it all the way back to 12-all. Picture this. They're on the last few balls. I've actually just pulled it up here, and I'm just going to talk you through the final moments, because now he's on the colours. Yellow and green are on their spot. Brown is on the top cushion. Blue is just underneath it. He's just potted the yellow. Now it's brown and blue that are the issue here, because he needs to clear up the next few balls. It's only the blue, I think. Does he only need the blue? He might need the pink as well. He plays. He gets on the brown and he pots it along the cushion, but then he misses the blue. He rattles it. And I mean, it's frame ball, I think. I'm going to fast forward slightly. I'm pretty sure it was frame ball. I don't know why he played it so hard. But Mark Williams plays a cutback. It doesn't look much, but it's a very difficult shot. For anyone who actually plays snooker, not just watches it, you know how difficult that shot is. And he plays it twice across, or over and back on the table. And he plays it to absolute perfection. And he just rolls the next two balls in. And the ovation he got, I really don't know. John Higgins lost the match. Mark Williams didn't win it in the end. He was like 12-8 up. He from 12-8 he should have won, but I honestly believe that John Higgins lost the match. There wasn't that Mark Williams won it, because I mean, yeah, it's just amazing how that happened. Yeah, I don't know why I started watching a YouTube video in the middle of a professional podcast. But yeah, just a really brilliant match. Then Xing Tong, Wakelin didn't kick on. Xing Tong won that one pretty easy. There's not a whole pile to say about that one now, to be honest. 1 second. ZHAOX Xing Tong. I'll just have a look at the scores, because I didn't watch much of this one, because it was the worst of a good lot, really. Yeah, Chris Wakelin won the first frame, but after that, it looks like Xiao Xing Tong kicked on and won pretty easily. Didn't have a century. I think that might be the first match of the tournament. They didn't have a century anyway. Yeah, I didn't see much of it, to be honest. I wish I did see more of it, but there were so many matches on. Great matches on. One of the matches that finished this evening, Judd Trump against Luca Brissell. Again, one that I was keeping more of an eye on than the other one. Judd Trump made his 104th century of the season, which is now the record for the most centuries in a season. So well done to Judd Trump, and also well done for winning. Judd Trump looks like the man to beat this week. I think Ronnie said that as well. He's looked so good all week, honestly. He's played so well. Yeah, it's not a whole pile to say. Other than well done, because you played an absolute blinder, my friend. Beating a man who beat the shit out of a Chinese guy just before a Chinese guy. Put some fucking respect on Ding Junhui's name. He beat up Ding Junhui. Yeah. So to beat Luca Bracel, I mean, he played. Judd Trump played really well. Judd Trump played seriously good snooker. Ronnie O'Sullivan, on the other hand, he beat Si Jiahui. What was it? 13-9. He reckons he's not playing well. He was talking about putting a new ferrule and tip on his cue. He's not enjoying it. I don't think he'll be sticking with this cue for much longer. But yeah. So yeah, we've had some absolutely great matches. I've really enjoyed this year's World Championship. There's been a couple of the first week I had off from school, so it was great for me. To be honest with you, it has been very good for me. So yeah, I'm absolutely delighted with this tournament. It's been one of the best World Championships ever, and I hope it continues that way. I'm gonna have a look ahead just at the semi-finals. The order of play: we kick off tomorrow at 1 p.m. with Zhao Xingtong against the Rocket Ronnie O'Sullivan. So that's the match at 1 o'clock, and then Mark Williams against Judd Trump. I don't remember such a good semi-final lineup in such a long time. The last couple of World Championships have been ones really for the outsiders to come through. This year has been all big names, all players who've been playing well, and it's great. It's honestly, man, it is really, really good. Yeah, there's not a whole pile to say really. Do they play 4 sessions? 1, 2. Oh, they do play 4 sessions, yeah. So it's just an afternoon and an evening tomorrow. Then there's morning, afternoon, and evening. So Ronnie O'Sullivan and Zhao Xingtong are playing afternoon, and then morning, evening, and then finishing afternoon. And then the opposite way around for the others, Mark Williams and Judd Trump. So they're playing evening, afternoon, morning, and then evening. Right, predictions time. Judd Trump, first of all. I think Mark Williams is a good run, but Judd Trump has been playing so well all season. He's just kind of been there for a lot of the tournaments recently, but at the start he was playing really well. He's playing really well again this tournament, and Mark Williams having a few issues. So yeah, I don't think that Judd Trump will be stopped, at least in the semi-final. And then this match, it's just a weird one. They're basically the same player, but one's English and one's Chinese. Really? Oh, Xingtong. Xingtong against Trump in the final. Come on. I said it wouldn't happen, but Xingtong to win the World Championship. Oh, that's a bold statement, isn't it? Oh, it's gonna be Ronnie O'Sullivan beating Mark Williams in the final now, isn't it? I've said it now. Zhao Xingtong is going to win the World Snooker Championship. So yeah, as I say, it's been a brilliant tournament, and I hope you enjoy it for the rest of the week. Just some AOB, any other business. Judd Trump and Marco Fu have been awarded invitational tour cards. I'm not sure how many they can keep giving Jimmy White, man. I get he's a legend, but Jesus Christ. Just let the man fall off the tour. Oh, mama. And Marco Fu had a few issues, and with the new tournament in Hong Kong, I'm sure they want him to to play to his home crowd. So I think that's why they've given him the invitational tour card. So yeah, that's just a bit of AOB. There was absolutely no surprise that this happened. To be completely honest, another thing that will, if anybody listens to the podcast in New Zealand and you've been watching on WST Play for the last few weeks, you can, or the last few months, you can watch the. Sorry, I got distracted there. You can watch the World Championship now on Sky Sport. Yeah, I've allegedly watched that a few times on some not so, like the channel, on some not so great or some great websites, but not so legitimate websites. Allegedly. And yeah, it's a great channel. So I'm not sure how much it costs, but if it's if it's relatively cheap, I think that's a good move to get snooker in such a big place. Q School, the draw's out for Q School. I'm just going to talk you through some of the names that I recognise. Ronnie Sullivan. That's going to be confusing if he makes it through. There's 2 events for Q School. Event 1 and Event 2, obviously. So one's played after the other. So yeah, Ronnie Sullivan. That's a name that stood out to me. Tony Knowles is having a crack at Q School. Is that the Tony Knowles? Is that the Tony Knowles? I don't know. He's playing as William Lemons. Oh man, some of the names in this always crack me up. Andy Neck. Oliver Sykes. He was a tour player. He's playing against John Pritchett. Craig Barber. Wesley Cooper. I've heard of him. Is there any other names? Jack Borwick I've heard of. There's actually a couple of French people playing. Brian Ochowski. He's a French player playing. I've noticed a few of them. Brian Nugent, I think I've heard of him. There is a new Hong Kong person, Chi Chung Chan. He's playing. No. Against Jason Tart. Whoa, hold up a second. Is Jason Tart not the guy from? Is he not the guy from? Okay, maybe not. I thought he was the guy from. What's that TV show about the football? I thought he was the guy from Ted Lasso. What's the name of the guy from Ted Lasso? It's something else. Tart. Oh boys, another French player, Nicolas Mortrue, I think. Daniel Boys. I think I follow him on Instagram. He's playing against Riley Powell. Oliver Brown. He was a former tour player. He's playing. Who else is there? John Astley. He's been doing bits on TikTok. His TikToks are very funny. If any of you want to check them out. Victor Sarkis is having another go at the tour. Who else is there? Joel Connolly. Did he do the shootout or something like that? I'm not sure. Is there any other names that I recognize in here? Ashley Hugill, he was a good player. There's an Irish guy, Ronan McQuirk. He's going to be playing. Stephen Wardropper. What a name, and I've heard of him. He's going to be trying his hand. Dean Reynolds. I've heard the name. I've heard the name somewhere. Billy Joe. It says Billy Castle. Is that Billy Joe Castle? 'Cause he was a tour player for a while. I believe. Who else is playing? Simon Blackwell. He's been given a bye into round 2. They obviously didn't have enough entrants. Andres Petrov. He was a great player. he must have only fallen off this season, because didn't he play like Mark Allen or somebody in the middle of the night this year at one of the Home Nations events? Fergal Quinn, he's played at the Championship League and at the Shootout. Josh Thomond, Josh Cooper. Josh Cooper is the guy who's related to Sean Murphy some way. Gerard Green, Vladislav Gradinari. His mother's a referee and he's played at the Shootout a couple of times. Alfie Davis has played at the Shootout. Anton Kazakov, he's the guy who Jimmy White beat in qualifying for the World Championship. Liam Pullen, did he fall off the tour? Oh, shut up. Oh, I didn't know he fell off the tour. He's going to be playing against... I thought that said Gary Fitness. It's Gary Filtness. Who else? I love going through these, man. Andrew Paget is going to be playing. Matt Williams, I've never heard of him. Barry Pinches, oh, you poor soul. Going to Q School. We love a bit of Barry Pinches. Craig Steadman, Hamad Mia, Harvey Chandler, Stuart Carrington, Peter Lyons. I thought he retired about 46 years ago. Is there any other names that I recognise? Andrew Higginson, Paul DeVille. I mixed him up with the next player, who's Peter Devlin. I was about to say Paul Devlin. Ash Carty, he fell off. Dean Young fell off. Alex Orsenbacher fell. Sorry, I'm going through these very fast. Alex Orsenbacher fell off. Dave Grace fell off. Ian Burns fell off. Wow. James Cahill having another crack. I don't think he's been on the tour recently. Daniel Womersley. Who else do I recognise? I mean, there's such a long list of these. Like some of the names playing in Q School. Jason Kendrick, was he playing last season or the season before? Where he just was playing so bad, like he lost, like got absolutely destroyed in... No, it must have been a couple of years ago, because I think it was the European Masters. He was playing Judd Trump and got absolutely trounced. He was not good, my friend. He was not good. But I think he did have a couple of good wins towards the end, but at the start he was appalling. Dylan Emery fell off tour. Rory McLeod is having another go. Was he the World Seniors Champion? I believe he was. Alfie Burden, he was the World Seniors Champion. He's giving it another go. Anthony Hamilton, you poor soul. Mark Joyce, he's played at the Crucible a couple of times. I think he played Ronnie when he was defending champion one year. Must have been in 21. Sean O'Sullivan, was he the guy who had the maximum in qualifying, where he had like all the long tackle out and he had to just cut this black in? I think it was him. So yeah, that's all of the the matches in event 1. Well, not the matches, the players really. I doubt there's going to be any new players in event 2. So I'm not going to go through that because we're coming up in an hour as well. There is a button that says streaming options, so hopefully we'll be able to watch at least a couple of the matches on WST Play. That would be great. Yeah. So I think that wraps us up. Jason Tartt, man. I can't get over it. Anyway, it's coming up at 11 o'clock. I have to get up at 7 in the morning, so I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much if you've gotten this far. I know it's been a while since I've been here, and I know it was a bit rambly there at the start, but I do appreciate every single one of you for listening. Send me an email, man. I've had no emails this week, which is absolutely fine. I mean, there's been a lot to do, but if any of you would like to send in an email, please do, because I love getting them. Seriously, every time I get one, it brightens up my day as well. But so, cuethechat@gmail.com is where to send in your emails. They would be much appreciated. But I'll probably be back before the final. I mean, if I'm not back before the final, may as well throw the mic in the bin because there's no point. So yeah, we've had some really great like the world champion, the one that I posted, the World Championship draw reaction. That one's nearly the best episode I've ever posted, episode 18. So thank you to everybody who's listened. we're getting some very decent plays. If I was a bit more consistent, I think we could take off. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. If I don't post anymore, Alan McManus said that he was going to listen to the podcast on the way home up to Scotland. So if you're Alan McManus, hello. Yeah. Anyway, we will be talking to you probably Saturday. So yeah, we will, well, Sunday morning really. Yeah, but we will see you then. Thank you, every single one of you, for listening. We've gone over the hour mark, so I'm going to let you have some peace, and we will see you later. Adios.